Hi friends, this is George Grant. Welcome to this orientation video for our group Zoom meetings. And in the scrubber bar, the timeline below this video, and in the show more notes, you'll see the separate chapters listed for each of these little segments we'll talk about so that you can look things up in any order you want to. If you want to listen to something a little more closely. So my website is vocaltoning.net. My YouTube channel is George Grant Voice. Please subscribe. If you've got any questions about any of these things, email me at GeorgeGrantMusic@gmail.com. Okay, so why do we need an orientation for a group Zoom meeting? We don't have orientations for my private lessons. We get online and we start to work together. But in a group session, 30 minutes is all it's going to be. We want to have as little talking and instruction, and we don't want to have to answer any questions. We want this to be a musical experience from beginning to end. And it's a ceremony without a ceremony. You know, a music concert really is a ceremony. We don't think of it that way, but it is. And it's nothing religious. It's nothing out of the ordinary. We just want this thing called music without so much verbal chit-chat. So we need to be oriented. And it's really, really easy. You'll see. All you need to know is a few things about how it happens, and then you'll be clear. So who is invited to these group Zoom vocal toning sessions? Everybody. Everybody's invited. Because there's three different kinds of involvement. There's some other people besides me will be leading these music games, listening games that we do. Some people will not lead, but they'll respond and listen as their mic is muted. Nobody's going to hear you if you don't want to be heard. And three, some people can just listen. A lot of people take this toning as a form of sound bath, resonation of your body. And some people will do their Qigong, creative Qigong movements as they listen. So there's no obligation for anybody to be heard or to get anything right. And we welcome everybody to come and just be part of the vibration, the experience. So to be oriented, we need to understand a few technical things and then a few things to understand about the formats that we do. Okay, technical. There's four things, and these are all very, very simple. We don't mind if you don't want to tone and you just want to listen. But it will be considered more polite if you turn your camera on. We want to see your face. So please, you don't have to speak, you don't have to sing, but we'd like to see your face. It's just kind of a better vibe that way, okay? Number two, make sure you know how to turn your mic into the mute position. There's a little button on your Zoom where you can turn on your mic and turn off your mic. You'll see the little red slash in the little tiny microphone. And everybody's going to be on mic mute unless you're presenting an exercise and leading. Okay? Original sound. Number three, original sound for musicians. You need to have that on. And if you don't know how to do it, you just look it up on Zoom. You'll find it. It's in the settings in your Zoom audio. You just need to turn this on. This allows you to, if you're going to lead, you don't have to do this if you're not going to be heard, but you need to have this special setting on so that we hear your pitches, and in some of these sessions we play drums. And if your original sound is not on, we won't hear you. So you have to learn that on your own time, please. And then you do need to contact me at GeorgeGrantMusic GeorgeGrantMusic@gmail.com if you want to attend one of these sessions, because then we'll send the link to you when there's a new link for every meeting. Okay? So there's the technical things. Camera on, original sound for musicians, mic mute, and email me to get the invitation for the meeting. Okay, now we get into the nitty-gritty, and this is the fun stuff. We need you to be oriented with the 3 different formats that we use. These are like listening games, and they're called echo after, short motif, freestyle phrases, or we could also call it one breath freestyle phrases, and repeat a pattern as accompaniment. So there's only 3 things. Now, if you go to a basketball game and you don't know what's going on, number one, you're not going to be invited to play because you don't know the rules of the game, right? If you go to the park and just meet some people, everybody's going to want you to understand the basics of the game. It's just common sense. Also, if you just go and you watch the basketball game, you're going to get a lot more out of it if you understand those simple rules of the game. And it's not that big of an expectation. So that's the same thing here. So that we don't have any talking or questions or, George, what does this mean again? There's no time for that during the basketball game or a baseball game. Little kids, they all know this is your turn to swing. You're going to catch the ball to get the guy out. This is just, you need to know that stuff so that everything can flow. Now, you're going to come to these meetings and you don't have to lead anything, but if you want to lead, you need to know, and if you want to respond, you need to know these things. Okay? There's only 3. Echo after, short motif, freestyle phrases, and repeat a pattern as accompaniment. So, what's interesting about these 3 formats, they work equally well whether we're doing vocal toning, which has no beat or meter or pulses, or drumming in a 4/4 rhythm, which does have regular steady beat and 4 beat lengths. And it also works for when we do our yoga dance, Qigong, Muda movements. We can follow with echoes, we can follow with freestyle phrases, and we can take advantage of a repeated pattern as accompaniment. Okay? Now we're going to break this down and show you right now how each of these 3 things works. Okay, format number 1, echo after, short motif. Notice all of these formats tell you what to do and how to do it. What is short motif? How? Echo after. Echo after. So the hand signal, all these have hand signals. The leader does the motif, and then everybody responds by doing the same thing. Echo. So it's usually 2, 3, 4, or 5 tones to make it short and simple. This is a skill, and it's tricky to lead it sometimes, but it's simple to follow. Little kids do this with me all the time. Let's do one right now. Halile Sena So Hallelujah. 2, 3, 4, no more than 5 usually. There's always a time to break the rules, but right now, keep it simple. And you could do something different than the leader. Notice the leader might do the same motif several times in a row, and maybe in slight variations. You don't have to understand much if you're not leading it, but to lead it, maybe you'll get used to this and want to lead it in some of our meetings. Everybody can do this if they want to. Okay? Echo after, short motif. You want to memorize these things. these titles. Okay, format number 2, freestyle phrases. We call these one breath phrases because it takes only one breath. Now the hand signal for this, with echo after, this is this. With phrases, I'm going to draw a wave like in the ocean. It starts, it builds up, it rises, it peaks, it comes back down. This takes your breath. And it's not a world record thing. No, it's just like, it's a sentence. It's a simple sentence. It doesn't have to be complicated. So, a motif is short and dirt simple so that you can repeat it. A phrase is very expressive and nobody's going to repeat it. So I'm going to do one right now. Ye la si e le la na se o e o wa. And with silence. Here's my next one. O a ye lo e la na ye o. I don't have to go forever. It rises and it concludes. Now, a leader might do one back and forth with another person. We can have 2 open mics. Or maybe they each do 2 phrases each. Or one leader can sing 4 phrases to make a paragraph of 4 musical sentences. Or even 8. Or even, they don't have to count them. It is nice to think of sets of 4s so that you can even organize your paragraph. But then you can do another paragraph. So this is what the leader will do. Now, what do you do at home? Well, you can do your Muda. You can also add 1 or 2 little sounds. The phrase is going to be very expressive, and you don't know what it's going to be, so it takes a little bit of listening. So the key is come in and out. You come in like with 1 tone, and then you come out. You maybe make a harmony with what you heard. Or maybe it's almost like you're finishing what they're doing. You know, they're doing, their little notes, and then you hear something, and you sing 2 or 3 sounds, maybe just 1 sound, and back out, so that you can listen. So you're making ornaments over the top. They've got the cake and the icing, and you're putting a few little candles or different colors and designs on top. But listen, in and out, in and out. You can also just do your Muda exercises. We'll talk about this in a minute. Okay? Now notice, the phrases are about 2 times as long as the motifs. This is important to understand if you really want to get involved with this. Short motif, longer phrases. Okay? And short and simple, a bit longer and expressive. They're almost like opposites in what we're doing here. And to understand these formats really helps when we have group vocal toning in the same room, because we kind of are working together, doing different things all at the same time. Like in a rock band, people have a job to do. Okay, format number 3 is called repeat a pattern. And we could also call this repeat a pattern as accompaniment. So the hand signal for this is to just draw a circle. It means over and over and over and over and over. Echo after is back and forth. Freestyle phrases is 1 wave and then it ends, and then there's another wave and it ends. They keep coming. A repeated pattern goes over and over and over. Okay, this is related to the art of making a motif. If I can make a short little motif, I can repeat it 3 times and then end it with a different motif that contrasts and calls attention to the fact that this longer cycle is over. And then I'm going to do it again and again and again, many times. Now I can also change my repeated pattern. There's lots of ways to make repeated patterns, but the good entry-level way to do this is think A, B. Motif number A, repeat it number 2, repeat it number 3, and the fourth motif is a different motif. So let's do one right now. Just listen to me do it. Sol, la. Sol, la. Sol, la. Now I could do that. Again, repeat A, and the ending doesn't matter. That doesn't have to be the same every time. I could do that. And then maybe after 2 cycles of the same A motif, I could create a brand new one right off the top of my head. Why yeah, no. Why yeah, no. Why yeah, no. Yo ne na na. What I'm doing is about twice as long as a phrase, 4 times as long as a motif. In vocal toning, there's not absolute beats like there might be with drumming or, melodic music where we have a steady beat. But what's the purpose of this? This is accompaniment. It means the accompanist is in the background. Well, that's so that somebody over the top, a bass player, a guitar player, a singer, can do something much more expressive, or a second layer of repeated patterns. You don't have to know too much about this, but you need to understand that the reason we make repeated patterns is so that when you're at home on mic mute listening to this, you don't have to do that. That accompaniment is for you to take advantage of, and now you do freestyle phrases or any little thing that you intuitively want to do. You're free. Freestyle phrase, it could be even just a little bit of an accent here and there. You're absolutely free to do whatever you want, but keep your ear on the accompaniment. The accompaniment is like the coloring book page with no color in it yet. There's a design for you, but yet you get your crayons and everybody does it differently. 10 people can color it in any way they want, even though it's the same design. And you'll be on mic mute and no one will hear you, but it's really cool to be able to hear an accompaniment pattern. The secret of this is that the repeated pattern needs to be dirt simple. We learned this back in format 1. Super simple in long tones. Because if the long tones are there, somebody else is a little bit more busy over that. We don't want the repeated pattern to be busy because we want the freestyle phrases to have freedom to be busy and then able to tune into the accompaniment really quick. Repeat a pattern as accompaniment. Now there are a few more options for how to listen and enjoy what you hear in these group Zoom meetings. One is movement, what we might call yoga dance or Muda, Gong, creative. So let's learn just a few of these motifs right now. We've got dozens of them, but we're not going to go into it too much. That'll happen in unique, special instructional meetings where we can look at these and learn them. But for right now, let's just look at 2 that you can do while you listen. Okay, one's the horse pose. Both of my feet are flat on the ground. My knees are spongy. I roll my hips back. I'm standing up nice and straight. I make believe there's a beach ball on my head and I'm balancing it up there so it doesn't fall off. I'm also holding a beach ball. And these moves are designed for focusing our breathing. So maybe you're not toning, but you could hiss. And as you inhale, the ball gets a little bit bigger. As you exhale, you bend your knees a bit and squeeze the ball in just a bit as you're hissing. And then when you're done hissing, you just start over again. Now you could hiss or you could hum. Or you could tone. One tone. You could do freestyle phrases. And you could do echo after. You could do whatever you want while you're doing these, but at first you kind of want to just learn them. It's just squeeze the ball as you exhale, open the ball as you inhale, and align your body nicely, okay? Motif number 2, we call this step tap. One foot's on the ground, the other's just your toe. And we have this, maybe you're holding a cup of tea, or maybe you're holding your drum, or maybe your hands are just free. And what we do is we can lift up. We've got puppet strings on our elbows and on our knees and on the top of our head. It's like we're dangling. And as you inhale, you come up, and then you open your hands, push down, step down on one foot that's ready, and then tap. So this is your inhale, and this is your exhale. One step tap. If you're holding a cup, you just hold your cup and lift it. That's one step tap. You can do it in place. You can also do, I would consider this a different motif, one step tap forward or reverse. So you can lift up and then step away from where you are, push down, you're in a new location. I lift up, this is my inhale, heel only, roll over the foot to the new location, and then conclude it. So this is an option. There's a whole lot that we can do with this, but when you come to these meetings, you probably see a few people doing these. This is part of toning training, and it also becomes more creative and interactive with people. We can do echo after motif, freestyle phrases, and repeated pattern as accompaniment with our body movements. And this is an option for listeners. There's one more option for participation. It's the ultimate skill, listening. Instead of toning or moving or both, you will see some people in our sessions that are just seated with their eyes closed or laying down on their bed or on the floor. You can listen to the tones and use them to feel your body vibrate. This is particularly good if you have headphones in. And you can learn, we're not going to discuss it during these sessions, but for those people who want to do this and are doing it, it's like the sound bath, yoga nidra, where you feel body sensations. And I call this music massage. The tones are vibrating your body. But we're not doing it, you're doing it. You just notice your body and what's happening. Do I feel it in my head, my belly, my legs? There's all kinds of skill in learning how to do this, exploring it. And that's one of the things I do with people in these sound healing treatments. And it's not just always about doing the toning, but giving it away to other people for healing. So that's an option for you, and you'll see other people doing this. So, the ceremony without a ceremony. There's no talking. There's no questions. There's no instruction. We stay in the musical zone. You don't have to be good or bad. You're not going to be judged. You're not going to be measured in any way. But we stay in the musical zone, and the leaders get to practice their confidence. We all get to learn about thinking about music, thinking about how we make these different concepts. And the ceremony without a ceremony, it's mindfulness. We're mindful, we're focused, we know what's going on, we're comfortable with it. So we stay in this meditative state. Really, it's called music. Okay? So to conclude, to be oriented, do a little bit of homework, look in the show notes, it's written in the notes, you can write it down, there's only 3 formats. Echo after short motif, freestyle phrases, repeat a pattern as accompaniment. Motifs are short, phrases are a little bit longer, repeated patterns as accompaniment are a little bit longer. Remember, there's what we do and there's how we do it. What we're going to do is a short motif. How? Echo after. One time, echo after, here comes the next one. Okay? What is a phrase? How? Freestyle. Freestyle means spontaneous, expressive, but then it's like a sentence has a period at the end of it. In music, we call this silence. Okay? What we do and how we do it. In the third format, what are we doing? A repeated pattern. And that sort of tells us the what and the how. It's a pattern, but we repeat it over and over and over. Okay? So memorize these 3 formats, write them down, and there'll be no confusion when you join our group Zoom meetings. So I look forward to seeing you there. GeorgeGrantMusic@gmail.com if you've got any questions or you want the link to come to the sessions. Okay, have fun. Bye-bye.